Hi, on today's show, a bit of history, my YouTube rant with links supplied by viewer and subscriber Robert Townsend, an interview with Brian Bielemeyer, aka Dr. Frangible, and a question: what's it really like to work the streets? My name is James, and this is Magic News Television. When I was young, I got my first magic fix through mail order and VHS videos. Well, Betamax never really took on. Subscribing as I did to the Magigram, which was an in-house publication put out by the now defunct Supreme Magic Company, I bought my very first trick, the acrobatic matchboxes. As a younger child still, I managed to get to London and go to Ken Brooks's Magic Place, and how I wish I could remember what that was like. My memory escapes me. But I also got to go by Jeff Maltby's Repro Magic and also the late Pat Page's Sounds of Magic. Now there's a blast from the past, Sounds of Magic. Whew. And I bought from him a sponge ball routine which I still use today, and also the Dutch Looper, his famous take on the 3-card trick. Now, why do I tell you all this? Well, it's against this background that I became aware of a great magician from Holland called Fred Kaps. Fred Kaps, the embodiment of style, grace, je ne sais quoi. Phenomenal magician and totally inspiring person. Interviewed as he was by Michael Parkinson many times, there's a lot that today's magicians can learn from him. I wish the guy on YouTube coming up, my YouTube rant coming up, actually learned from him, because Fred Kaps embodies everything that's great about a magician. It really does look magic what he does. So as a bit of history and a little homage to the man himself, Fred Kaps, here we have the one and only Mr. Fred Kaps.
Ordinary cord. Watch very carefully. You'll see the cord move.
Red, diamond, and hard cards. I'll show you them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 is 5 ordinary red playing cards.
Watch very carefully now.
Now from these 5 cards, I go, excuse me? 5, yes. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. It doesn't matter really. So we do the trick with only 4 cards. It's exactly the same, so don't worry. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 ordinary red cards. Now,
I won't do anything. And you'll see it move. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. It's not the muscles of the hand at all. Look. Whoa.
From these 4 red cards, I'm going to take in my right hand, that's this one, in this hand, I'm going to take 1, 2, 3 of these cards and only 1 in the other hand.
What?
Now the trick is that I'm going to vanish that card without you seeing it, making the card from my left hand.
Like it?
I do.
You can keep it.
I can keep it.
I will try to do this trick with 3 cards tonight. Well, you won't miss anything. Just the other 2. No. Well, it works. Well, anyway, we've got 2 cards left. It's the 3 of hearts and the 5 of hearts.
Like it?
I do.
You can keep it.
I can keep it.
Sometimes we are so hard pressed to realise the beauty of what went by. Another time and another place, I'm sure. But through the vagaries of video sharing websites, we are able to still view, savour and learn from the masters of magic from another era. A beautiful thing. Unfortunately, the guy coming up in my YouTube rant doesn't seem to know that, and we have a link sent by Robert Townsend of Arnaud Chevrier performing Open Travellers, an effect created by and invented by the late Larry Jennings. The guy at the end really doesn't get it. Let me know what you think. This is my YouTube rant. Viewer and subscriber Robert Townsend has sent me a link to a YouTube video of a performer called Arnaud Chevrier. Is it Arnaud or is it Arnaud or is it Arnaud? It's spelled A-R-N-A-U-D. I'll just call him Mr. Chevrier. Check this out. Yep, you guessed it. The opening sequence to Open Travellers has been invented and created by the late Mr. Jennings. Here's Mr. Larry Jennings holding court in the Magic Castle, Hollywood, California.
Get up on stage and turn their hand like this and produce a fan of cards and throw them in a top hat and continue doing that. Well, that's called back palming.
Arnaud certainly has some chops. No, not those kind. He has ability, he has technique, he has skills, he has je ne sais quoi, he has qualm, he has ability. That's twice I said ability. Well, watch this, you'll understand why. Created and invented by the late Mr. Larry Jennings, and as good as Arnaud's presentation of it is, it's up to Mr. Larry Jennings to give the audience what they're about to see, a raison d'être, a reason for being, a storyline.
It's very difficult to do, and he has to be up on the stage. I think I'm the only person that's ever attempted it close up. So we'll see if I can sneak by you with a little magic move, all right?
Although Arnaud's handling of it doesn't have a storyline, it has some wonderful music and great skill, which creates a beautiful piece of theatre. But for every artiste or artisan, there's always got to be one person that just tips the bucket and throws the rubbish absolutely everywhere.
This is the Magic Man again. I'm here to reveal a card trick.
Did I get that right? He's here to reveal?
I'm here to reveal a card trick.
Why? When? Why? 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 Reveal. I hope you got that. Not educate, not entertain, not inform, not train, not give lessons in, but just reveal. Wonderful stuff, eh?
This one's called the Invisible Palm. So I'm going to take this card and I'm going to palm it. Take this ace, show you that. Don't have anything, now watch.
But it sure does look like he has a beef against that pool table.
Anything, now watch. Anything, now watch. Anything, now watch.
Why, oh why, oh why doesn't this guy practice, rehearse and put something better together? Because then he would end up with something of beauty just like this.
This time, the Ace of Hearts. Take the Ace of Hearts like this, and you look like you don't trust me. I really do I make it invisible, you see? And I lay it down there with the other 2, where it instantly becomes visible.
Or this. If this magician is intent on destroying his pool table,
Anything, now watch.
he's actually going about it the wrong way as well. I mean, look at these guys. Oh, we've just got to see that one more time. Thanks, Robert, for sending Magic News Television that link of Arnaud Chevrier performing Open Travellers, and also the link to the guy who murdered it. Because that's what it is. He murdered it. He murdered it. He murdered it. Did he? Yes, he did. He murdered it. Terrible man. But if you've got a link that you would like to send Magic News Television of somebody performing a great effect and somebody not performing it so well, send it to us here at Magic News Television. The email address is at the contact page, and it's James at the Magic Hub. Thanks very much indeed again, Robert. We'll see you soon. You know, there is a bit of the devil inside me, because I'm wondering if that guy happens to see what I've said about him, what will happen? Oh, darn it. I'll actually send it to him, because I think he should see it. Don't you? Anyway, now it's time for Ask James. We here at Magic News Television are still getting a lot of questions for Ask James. And one question, again, that's risen to the top because we feel it might be of benefit to our viewers and the magic community at large. What's it really, really like to work the streets? It's great when it's good, and it's just good when it's bad. As a means to earn a living, one really has to treat it just like a job. That is, if you have regular commitments such as mortgage or rent and bills. There can be a bit of pressure for you to perform when you really don't feel like it, when you'd rather be doing something else. And yes, I know that's true to say of some jobs or most jobs. Though it's instant gratification. You go out there, you build an edge, you build a show, you entertain, you get the chance to perform, they clap and they pay. Instant gratification. I mean, what more could a body want, to say the least? You would think that in far-flung climes where it's really hot, you think, that's great, everybody's going to be out, it's going to be hot. Too hot is too hot. Too cold, nobody's there, whether it's raining or snowing. It just becomes quite a grind sometimes when you're not able to work because of the weather, and then when the weather is good, you've got to go out there and make up for lost time. Quite difficult, and especially being weather dependent. To work the streets, you really have to have a really thick skin to deal with the daily vagaries of working a pitch. You know, the drunks or those people who are not particularly polite. And you can have the possibility of falling into anger, which you carry forward sometimes to the next show, and it's just collapses. It's not so easy. I was interviewing Nick Nicholas last year. His interview is coming up next week. And I asked him a similar question. What's one of the best things about working the streets? And he said, right away, it's the freedom. Yes. Then I asked, what's one of the worst things about working the streets? And immediately he said, it's the freedom. Yeah, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Well, that about wraps it up for this week's episode of Magic News Television. I hope you found it entertaining. I hope you find it informative. And I hope you find it a bit educational. If you're not a subscriber, just fill in your details over here, and then you'll be sent timely reminders of when each episode comes out, and those reports and those free downloads which we are looking towards getting later on. Also, if you have any comments that you would like to leave, please do so down below. It really is great if you interact and let me know what you're thinking and share your thoughts with the rest of the community. If you want to ask a question, just click on the tab above, Ask James, send us your question and we'll do our best to air it on the show, remembering that only those questions we think will better benefit the community will get voiced. Anyway, that about wraps it up. Next week we've got an interview, amongst other things, with wonderful international street performer Nick Nicholas, and yeah, that's about it really. So thanks for watching. My name is James, and this has been Magic News Television.